Do you think Trump will win?
Well, 2 months ago, I was 90% sure he would win. And I would say now I would be 70% sure he would win. And that is based on we've discussed the polls, and we're in agreement that the polls are. Look, there's a lot of polling, but when we factor in these other issues about the battleground states and the shy Trump voter and other things, I think the polling is not great for Trump, but it's we're competitive. Then the second issue is the enthusiasm levels for Trump. Now, in Australia, enthusiasm levels is not a big deal because we're all forced to vote.
Yeah.
Our freedom is taken away.
Yeah.
But anyway, in America, it's voluntary voting, which is what it should be, and enthusiasm in any voluntary voting situation is obviously critical. Well, anyone who follows social media has seen this eruption of Trump events, not organised by the Trump campaign, just citizens who love Trump going on a tractor ride, a boat ride, a car ride, and there's endless people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of love for Trump.
Yeah.
Michael Moore, one of the, a smart guy, hard left, a Bernie Sanders lefty. He did say Trump, he said very emphatically Trump's going to win 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And he said about 3 weeks ago, he said, are we all ready for Trump to win again? Because you better be. He said the Trump enthusiasm level is off the charts. Okay, so that's an important thing. And then the third indicator about an election is the historical precedents. There are patterns in elections. One of the strongest patterns in the great English-speaking democracies like America and Australia and others is that first-term national governments get a second term, with very few exceptions. So in Australia, every first-term government has been re-elected since 1931. We had a one-term Labor government in 1931, and it was a complete schmozzle, and they lost badly after one term. But everybody else gets a second term. Now, it's often hard to win that second term. So John Howard lost the popular vote to Kim Beazley in 1998. Julia Gillard almost lost in 2010 to Tony Abbott, but she just scraped over. We saw it last year with Justin Trudeau in Canada. He was trying to go for his second term, and he got there. It was tight, but he got there.
Wow.
Now in the United States, every president who was a fresh president in terms of not being the vice president of the previous president or something like that. So it's a brand new presidency with a brand new party. Every time someone's been in that situation since the 1890s, they've got re-elected. Except for one exception, it was Jimmy Carter. In 1976, Jimmy Carter defeated a Republican. In 1980, he got defeated by a Republican. And I think that, Jimmy Carter was pretty useless, and the economy was bad, and he had Iran and other things. But he was up against a godlike candidate called Ronald Reagan. So the precedent is strongly on Trump's side, but there's exceptions. And when I say to people about that precedent, people say, Trump's not a normal candidate, and I say, well, look, people always think that, but they are right. Trump is obviously an unusual candidate, so maybe the precedent doesn't apply to him, but I think normally it does. So just going back, the historical precedent says Trump's going to win. Overwhelmingly says Trump's going to win. Enthusiasm says Trump's going to win overwhelmingly. The polls, which is probably the most important indicator, is not great, but it's not a write-off. So I think, and the polls 4 years ago in mid to late October did recover strongly for Trump. So let's see if that's going to happen again. Okay, so is he going to win? Look, I would probably be, after just listening to myself for the last 3 minutes, Joel, I'd probably say I'm back up to about 75% sure he's going to win.
You convinced yourself. That's
right,
that's rare. Right. You should talk to the mirror a bit more often.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. I said it last year. I said it to a mutual friend of mine, Ricardo Bosia. I said the only thing in Trump's way, this is a year ago, is the economy. And because I knew it was going to blow up, I just didn't know if it was going to happen before or after the election.
Right.
The coronavirus dove on that grenade and detonated it so that Trump is no longer responsible for that. Now, whether it's his fault or not, I don't know. I just know that the national debt needs to be addressed.
Oh, yeah.
However, polls universally show this, that Trump is trusted more on the economy. And, you know, just like the Clintons saying, it's the economy stupid, that's what people vote on. I think that, yeah, no, look, that's a very interesting indicator, the historical one. I mean, we all know that they typically win their second 4 years, but but that was very fascinating.